Man.
Catch-up time, isn't it?
We're back in here.
It feels like
it's been forever.
Yeah, I feel like it's been over a month since. Well, I guess when you do this every 2 weeks and you are
skip
late,
one, it is a month.
It is a month, but it feels longer than that.
Yeah, I mean,
feels like we're doing our first one again.
It's been hectic. I guess we'll say we apologize for skipping an episode. We that was our last choice, but we really didn't have any options. It's been hectic around here, from work to turkey season to being sick. It's been one thing after another, but
I was thinking about that earlier. Like, literally, if you've been following along from the beginning of this, I've been sick, I think, since we started.
Yeah, you've been. Yeah, I don't know what it is. That daycare that your daughter goes to is keeping
rough.
Y'all sick. Yeah,
I just got to get over it before Saturday.
Yeah, well, also turkey season we knew this would be. I mean, we knew we were going to run into this during turkey season, just because it's always hectic regardless. And then when you're trying to throw one more thing in the mix and make our times line up when you're already missing work to hunt and to go places and all that, it's just, I mean, it happens.
But the good thing about this recap is we really haven't seen one another in about 3 weeks. So,
and we haven't talked about, we had guests, so we haven't talked about any of our season on here. I mean, the last time we talked turkeys was really the day before it started. So,
but even just talking to you, we haven't even really talked. I think you've been on 2 trips since me and you.
Well, I mean, today
talked.
was the first day we've seen each other in 2 weeks. So
right.
So we got some stuff to catch up on. So that's, I guess, this episode we're pretty much going to just try to get caught up on what's been going on this spring and how our turkey seasons have panned out, and hopefully there's a little bit left to it, but it's over here in Mississippi, so we'll just kind of talk about how it went, the good and the bad, and then just kind of update on where we're going. So, I guess, Austin, you can start. Just how'd it go? How'd the season start, and how's it going?
Overall, it was a really good season, I think. It tailed off as the season kind of went on, but it seemed like, and I'm saying that, like, don't take me serious with this, because I don't really have enough observations to say one way or the other. I think I hunted less this year than I ever have, just from work and feeling bad. And I mean, basically, it just got down where I was hunting on Saturdays only.
Well, the way the season went in general, my observations is I'm in a group message that all we talk about is turkey hunting, and I think, just judging by everybody's experience this year, it was one of the better ones that I can remember. Mm-hmm. I mean, some people had some tough goes at it, but overall, as far as numbers of birds you're hearing versus number of birds you're killing, it was good, I think. Yeah. One of the better ones in a couple, which last year was good too. So, I mean, 2020 was crazy just because nobody actually worked. But
right.
The last couple of years been good, but this one was really good, I thought.
We had a good first couple of days. At first, we talked about it, I guess, that first time. We always get together that first, especially when it starts in the middle of the week. We always kind of get together. Some of us take off, stay together, that kind of deal. So we had a good fast start to get rolling. So that first 4 or 5 days was hot and heavy, and we killed a bunch of turkeys during then. And then kind of hit a little bit of a lull, I guess. Goblin went down a little bit, and then Barrett and I killed one together. Actually, that was a really cool story. The one he killed was, he and I killed a turkey 1 year to the day, 40 yards from the spot. He called one up for me last year. I called one up for him this year, and it was 1 year to the day and 40 yards from where I killed mine last year.
Yeah, hot spot.
Yeah, that was pretty cool doing that.
Yeah, I mean, my season I wouldn't really know, to be honest, what it was like late in the season.
You had a flash in the pan and just was done.
Yeah, I mean, I guess probably the highlight of the Mississippi season was that opening day, killing that one out there on our farm, on that project farm that we've talked about a little bit. Killing one out there was kind of the highlight, and then, maybe game wardens won't come get me. But then day 2 was... It was a complete accident, because I usually don't even kill 3 in Mississippi, but I guess it was like a little flyer pellet or something. 2 of them came up perfect, and waited on them to separate and shot, and look out, and 2 of them are flopping. So I was done day 2, even though I don't even like to kill 3 around here, but it happened. And I guess I've talked to other people, because I've been like, I mean, how does that happen? Like, how did I do that? Was I just not paying attention or what? And, everybody I've talked to, including you, has been like, it just happens. Like, it'll probably happen again. But
what were you shooting shot wise?
I think it's the Apex 7.5 out of the 20 gauge.
Okay, that's the same thing I shoot.
And I mean, I've never had that happen before.
The reason I was wondering, we're going to Nebraska 2 days from now, and a friend of ours, that's kind of his first chance to really get to go hunting is whenever we travel toward the end of the year. And so he was out patterning some new shells, and he sent me a picture earlier of he shot some just like Longbeard XRs and shot some number 9 TSS that he had bought. It was a brand that he hadn't seen before that he bought. And it's just ridiculous when you get to those low shot number TSS and what they do to something. So, I mean, like.
But I mean, and this wasn't even far. I mean, we're probably talking about 30 steps. So that pattern should be, pretty tight still. But I don't know. The people I've talked to said it's probably just like a little flyer that jumped out of the pattern and just
you're always you're always gonna have some.
I mean, just 1 in a million that it actually hit that turkey enough to kill it. But
and with it being TSS, if it wasn't far, the knockdown on it's ridiculous. So it don't take much.
I know. But yeah, that was it. 2 days, 3 turkeys. I was done. So
he was a sad man.
Yeah, because number one, I wasn't planning on hunting Alabama this year because that license is so expensive for non-residents, and I didn't have any choice. I had to buy it because I wasn't going to just sit on. I mean, nothing else was open yet. I mean, Alabama wasn't even open on the second day of our season, but I knew I'd have to get that license and didn't want to have to spend that money. But I did. Didn't end up killing one over there this year. I woke up this morning. Actually, I said, this is going to be my last day to go. Alabama closes, I think, Sunday. I'm not positive, but I think Sunday. But it's supposed to get hot, and I'm not. Place I hunt over there is right on the river, and I'm not dealing with those mosquitoes when it's hot. But I woke up and just didn't have it. I just said, you know what, I'm not doing it, and went back to sleep. But yeah, it was something else. But
well, you got to take a few people though. I mean, you went with a handful of folks.
Yeah, I took my sister. I don't know how many turkeys I've called up for her at this point. Took her out to my place. I didn't want to kill a second turkey out there, but I figured for her and for her first turkey, I mean, there was enough of them out there. So I took her out there, and we had 2 at probably 35 steps. I mean, it was early too. It was right off the roost, but she couldn't get a shot. But then I took one of my buddies that's never turkey hunted before. I mean, this was straight up his first time to turkey hunt, and just had an absolutely perfect hunt with him. He killed his first turkey, and that was pretty awesome. He was kind of fired up for it, and I talked him into going. We'll get into it in a little bit, but when I talked him into going to Georgia with me, and I think it was a little more terrain than he was expecting, and so I don't know if he's quite as fired up for turkeys as he was after that first day, but
I didn't know he went with you until I saw the pictures. Like I said a minute ago, like we hadn't talked at all. So me seeing you put up some pictures of stuff and all, that's all I know about any of the trips. So I'm going to hear, same time anybody else hears, what's going on these trips.
Yeah, I mean it's been one place after another. I mean, it hadn't gone too many places, but it feels like, I don't know, it feels like a year ago that I went to Florida, but I did look in. I think we talked about that on the episode before the season opened, but kind of looked my way into that trip to go try to kill an Osceola, and went there, I don't know, first weekend of Mississippi season, and was able to kill an Osceola down there. So I did complete the Grand Slam, which, I don't know, I kind of forget that it's not really as cool as it sounds right once it's done, but I was happy about that. And the one that I killed down there had some, sure enough, hooks for spurs. So that was a fun trip. Went down there and got on back, and then I started hunting Alabama and didn't have any success over there this year. It was tough, but
we took I had a little cousin we took a handful of times. I think I took him 2 or 3 mornings, and we didn't even hardly ever leave. We had one morning we actually finally found a turkey. It was late in the morning, wasn't gobbling. Found him out in the field and getting set up. And, friend of mine's game warden drove through and ran him off the road. He was just passing through doing his patrols. And Ross actually killed a turkey that morning. The only reason why I know it ended up being the game warden is because Ross killed a turkey that morning. And he texted me because he heard the gunshot, see if it was on us. And I said, wait a minute, was that you that just rode through here? He said, yeah, that was me. Said, did you run that turkey off? He said, oh, yeah, he flew. Okay, well, thanks, I'm gone.
Yeah, golly.
So
I guess
that happened.
Right, I mean, wrong place.
Just
wrong time.
Wrong place, wrong time. He didn't. I mean, he was just doing. He was just riding around. It was public road, so it wasn't like he was. He was just doing what he was supposed to be doing. But that was one morning we took him, and then a couple other mornings we never even really left the truck. We would go hear him gobble a couple times on the roost, and they'd shut up, and then just never could get him to strike again. And he was having ball games, stuff like that. So he'd leave and go do that, and we'd kind of call it quits at that point. And then took Morgan a couple times, never was able to get her anything.
How many turkeys did you kill this year? I don't even know.
Just that one.
Just one.
Yeah.
And how many did your brother kill?
Just that one.
Just that one. So okay. So how many? I mean, is that and then the ones that Ross killed, was that at his place or was that at?
Tom was at.
How many did y'all kill out there on y'all's property?
8 or 9. So
did your dad kill one?
No, he didn't kill one this year.
Damn. I was talking to him.
You about have to talk him into killing one. Like, we went years where he wouldn't even try to. And then we finally just forced him into start shooting them again.
I ran into him, I guess it was yesterday, and he was saying that there was one goblin out there the last couple of days. Now the season's over. So
he and I should have killed one Saturday. He and I went this past Saturday. That was going to be I guess the season closed Monday, and we went Saturday. And it was perfect. Like, pulled up, exactly what you want. Pull up, got out of the truck at a new spot, turkey's gobbling, walked in there, got set up probably about 100 yards from him on the roost, got set down. I see him pitch down. Dad yelped one time. So he's gobbling on the roost. We're in there, we sit down. Dad's kind of behind me. He yelps one time. Turkey gobbles at it, shuts up. 2 or 3 minutes go by, and I'm like, all right, he's about to fly down. I see him pitch down. Hits the ground, starts walking right to left. And I'm looking into this like green field that's running straight away from me about 70 yards. And then it's probably 40 yards wide. And then there's a ditch. And then there's another big green field on the other side of the ditch. So it's a one big green field that's split by a ditch, kind of runs in the middle of it. But I'm set up like right at the crossover point. There's a big culvert that goes over it. So he flies down out there about 70, 80 yards, walking right to left. And instead of he just makes a beeline straight to the ditch, gobbles at the ditch, flies the ditch, walks to the other tree line. It's 150 yards and starts strutting and gobbling as he walks around the other tree line. Meanwhile, his 4 hens and a jake all fly down right there in front of me, walk up to 6 steps. I got a video on my phone. Like, Dad, they're from me to that door. Like, they're 4 or 5 steps from us. They stayed on us for 45 minutes. He stood over there by himself, gobbling across from us the whole time.
Yeah, y'all got all those fields out at y'all's place, and that makes.
I don't know what he was doing. I think he'd played that game this year. I think. Yep, I don't know. Probably. Nobody was supposed to had been hunting him, but he just acted like he'd played that game before.
Oh, I'm sure that's how.
Because everybody, like the whole rest of the flock, did exactly what they were supposed to do. He was the first. He hit the ground first.
He's the only one that mattered. He knew what was up.
He hit the ground, walked straight over there to that ditch, gobbled on the other side, and walked to the other tree line 150 yards away, and was standing there with his head run up. And he gobbled good, but he had no interest in coming over there where we were.
Yeah, no, he's seen it. He's played the game. He knows what's up. But
so we got hoodooed on that one. But I don't know. This was it was a really, like I said, it was real hot and heavy to begin with, but we just didn't go a whole lot.
Yeah, I didn't either. I mean, all in all, I traveled a little bit, but all in all, I didn't go a ton because I couldn't. And it feels like opening day was 6 months ago, but
it does.
But I went to, so getting back, I mentioned Georgia with my buddy that killed his first turkey this year. Getting back to Georgia, that trip, so we went to North Georgia, and obviously I'm not going to say where we went, but people could probably guess. Everything I read online said this place is steep. Don't waste your time. It's steep. Blah blah blah. I was like, well, that's probably fair weather, hunters, all that. Like, we'll be fine. We got up there. The only thing I can compare it to is when I was in Montana back in October. It was absolutely the most steep stuff I've ever even thought about. I mean, I've turkey hunted in Wyoming. It had nothing on. Wyoming had nothing on Georgia. Just got back from Indiana. That was nothing like Georgia. I mean, this place was steep, and should have killed a turkey there, but that terrain got me. Opening day, well, we go up this mountain. This mountain ends up being, it's like an hour and a half from town to where we were camping out, but we just kind of pick a spot on the map and get lucky, and there's a turkey gobbling our opening morning, and we're trying to kind of make a play on him, and I'm used to hunting around here, so I'm like, oh, he gobbles one time, and I'm like, oh, he's a ways off. I mean, he answered, but he's a ways off, so let's make a move. Well, we make a move, and he gobbles again, and sounds like he's just right on top of us. And what it was is he was close the whole time, but he was just over one of those ridges, and they're so steep. I mean, it sounded hundreds of yards away, and then he topped this ridge, and we're out in a clear cut. So we're just absolutely screwed. Just sat there and he just sat there and strut and gobbled on top of his ridge across from us, probably 150 yards, for 45 minutes. Just sat there and watched him, and that was cool for my buddy that had, like I said, just got into turkey hunting this year, getting to actually watch them do their thing out in the open like that for that long. I mean, that was cool for him, but I was just kicking myself the entire time watching him, knowing I should have been on that ridge from the get-go, and couldn't move. I mean, like I said, we were in a clear cut, and he looked over there and knew there wasn't anything over there. He wasn't coming over there, but that was a fun. Didn't kill anything there, but that was a fun trip. But I'm not lying. I may go back there one day, but it won't be anytime soon. I mean, that terrain was crazy for Georgia. I mean, I understand it's the Appalachian Mountains, but it was
more than what you were expecting.
Yes, it was not what I signed up for, and it wasn't what he signed up for either, because he said he's not going on any more trips with me after that. But it was fun, all in all. It was just freaking tough. I needed a break after that.
I was trying to pull up the pictures from it where I could follow along. I have some images to go with.
I don't think there's no way. I don't even know if I posted anything about Georgia, but there's no way that a picture would do it justice for how steep it was. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was too steep for turkeys to be in, is what I thought. But they were in there because should have killed one, like I said. But it was tough hunting.
What did he think about? I mean, other than the terrain being miserable, did he like the trip?
Yeah, he did. Like I said, we camped and we planned on he's into fly fishing, and our plan originally was to do some fly fishing, hunt some turkeys, camp, just have an all around trip. But we tried to go fly fishing one afternoon, and we hiked down this hill or mountain probably, I don't know, it's probably 45 minutes to get down there to the river, and it started raining. We were like, oh, well, this is, it's up in the mountains. It'll be gone. Just give it a minute, give it 30 minutes or so. It'll be gone. No, it rained on us for 2.5 hours, and that was our only fishing attempt the entire trip, because, we're soaked. We're camping, so we have no way to dry our clothes. All our stuff's wet. It was miserable, but he's into camping and stuff, so he liked all that, and we had a good time. Just didn't kill a turkey, but
gotcha.
It happens. I think I was looking before we went. I think the hunter success rate over there in Georgia for public land was like 4.5%. So, you're not really planning to kill one when you go over there, but want to, and should have looked into one, but it didn't happen.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah, that luck's all it takes about 90% of the time, but just, when you do get that luck, you have to make the right decisions, and I just made the wrong decision. But I won't, again, well, I say that. At least I know when I'm hunting terrain like that, I won't make that same mistake because I've done it now. But it was good. But I was glad to get back from that trip and take a little break before I went anywhere else.
And you went Indiana next?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Indiana was just got back from Indiana, like, what was that, Sunday? But it was cool. That was probably my favorite trip of the year. Went with a friend of mine. We were planning on camping, but we ended up just staying in hotels. But we went up there. And
did you get as much rain as you were expecting?
We got rain. Yeah, that second day, it rained on us pretty much the whole night. And that's why, that's why our plan originally was to stay in a hotel the first night because he wasn't getting up there till like midnight and he didn't want to set up a tent at midnight. And then the second night was supposed to rain the entire night. And I was like, I don't want to be out there soaking wet when we can just get one of these little hotels. And after those first 2 nights, we were like, you know what, screw this. We'll just stay in this hotel the whole time. And we really, the limit up there is 1 a person. So we're like, we never know what day we might could kill one and need to jump out of here. So what's the point of? We checked in and out of our hotel 3 times because like we didn't want to book ahead of time, so we would just book a day at a time. Yeah. Had to keep doing it, but that.
Did y'all check in and out of the same hotel 3 times?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they thought we were crazy. And one time, I guess it was Saturday. It was Saturday. So we checked out, or we got all our stuff out of there that morning. Checkout was at 11. When we drove back in there because I had to do something for work and I needed Wi-Fi. So we parked in the parking lot and I was piddling around on my computer for a little bit and it was like 12:30. And we're like, I wonder if they've cleaned our room yet. And so I went in there. I was like, might as well check in again. So I went in there. I was like, look, can we have our room back? Like, y'all don't even have to clean it. Don't worry about it. Like, it's so-and-so number. We just want to check back in it just how it is. Don't worry about it. She was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And so we checked right back in. But
when you first said it, I thought you were like, y'all were just kind of moving around and were checking in and out of different ones.
No, there was only 2 hotels in the town we were at that you'd feel comfortable staying in.
Understand.
And I don't know what people were doing up there unless there was just a bunch of turkey hunters, but one of them was full like the whole time. So the one that we had a couple of rooms available, but there was a good bit of people hunting up there. A lot more. I saw a lot more pressure there than I saw in Georgia.
Really?
One guy I saw. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. I think I saw a plate from West Virginia. I saw one from Mississippi. Saw an Instagram story of another guy from Mississippi that was up there in Indiana. So, I mean, I get that's one of those states that I guess is fairly easy to get to from the south. It's not too far of a drive. And there's a bunch of turkeys up there, but they made it hard on me. I did kill one up there, but they made it tough. I sure didn't think I was going to kill one after couple of days, but I was able to kill one.
What happened there? Was he gobbling good? Did he come in the morning, midday?
So they were all. So I got a tip from a friend of mine on where to start. Pretty much, I got up there Wednesday afternoon, which was opening day, and was able to kind of drive around and look at some fields and stuff. Which all the fields are private, but you're just kind of figuring, the woods are public. So saw some turkeys in some fields when I got up there, but I had a tip from a friend of mine that had killed one up there a couple of years ago, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to start there the first morning. Just I don't know, it's right by a big field. I was like, we're just going to try it out. If nothing gobbles, I'll move. So I went in there, and nothing gobbled right away. It was probably. I don't know, it was probably 30 minutes after daylight before I heard one, but I heard one, kind of went and set up on him, played with him for 30 minutes or so. He was up on top of a ridge, and I just knew he wasn't coming down. Well, finally, I just said, all right, I'm going to try to make a move. If I spook him, I spook him. If not, I'll probably get lucky. So I went up and got on top of the ridge above him, and that's all it took. He was coming then. And this was kind of the theme of the trip after this. I didn't know it at this point, but I saw that turkey for, I don't know, 5 seconds. He was in gun range, but he wasn't all cut. I mean, like his head was real dull, and I couldn't see a beard because I could just see his head. So I was like, I'm not. You can kill a Jake up there, but I was like, I'm not using my one tag on a Jake on opening day.
Yeah.
And he didn't stand there. I mean, 5 seconds at the most, and I just saw him turn around, and I could just hear him in the leaves just. I mean, he was hauling out of there. So he spooked. I swear I don't think he saw me, but he saw that something wasn't right, and he got out of there. But then, so the next morning, I got beat to that spot. I was planning on going back, got beat to that spot. Second spot I wanted to go to, truck was there. Third spot I wanted to go to, truck was there. So I just went all the way down to where I had seen a turkey the Wednesday afternoon, which was my fourth choice. But as soon as I get out of the truck, turkey's gobbling like 150 yards away. Okay, well, this will probably happen. Go set up on him. He stays in the tree forever. I think I kind of tree yelped at him, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, and he gobbled every time. And he was, trucks would pass by on the road. He'd gobble at them. He was gobbling like crazy. I said, hey, he's going to fly down, work perfect. This is going to be quick. I don't know what happened to him. He flew down and shut up, and that was it. I mean, I waited him out for probably an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just nothing. Never heard him again. Never heard him way off. I mean, don't know what happened on that. But so it kind of just felt like the unluckiness was just continuing. And but that morning, the friend that went with me, he killed one. And he called me. He said, I just killed one, but there's turkeys gobbling everywhere where I'm at, so you need to come over here. So I go over there, and there was still a turkey gobbling. Tried to do something with him, but it was getting on up in the day and just didn't really work out. But went there the next morning, which was Saturday morning, and there's turkeys gobbling everywhere. I mean, we probably heard 7, 8 turkeys gobbling on the roost. But the afternoon before, they would gobble. I got to where I was scared to call because they would gobble on their own just out of nowhere. We'd get within like 80 to 100 yards of them, call.
Shut up.
They'd shut up and nothing. It was just done. So I was like, I don't know what's wrong with my calling, but it's just not. I didn't know what to do. Well, it's like, I've called up turkeys this year. I know that this calling works, but you get in your head so bad when it's tough that it's like something's not sounding right. I had the first afternoon I had lost my favorite mouth call, so I was like, well, that's got to have something to do with it. It's this new call I'm using, but we picked a turkey that Saturday morning to go set up on, and we got pretty close to him on the roost. And there was 2 little ridges we were trying to pick from, so we sat down. We're like, let's let him gobble one more time in the tree, and then we'll decide what we're going to do. Well, it's not 2 minutes go by. This turkey gobbles, and he's 40 yards in front of us on the ground. So luckily we were sitting down against a tree, but we were pretty much pinned, and it's not long after that I see him probably 35 steps, but he's just going straight to the left, and my friend is sitting on the same tree as me to my left.
Yeah.
So he kept going so far left that I turned, and I really didn't feel good about this, but I probably would have tried it. But I had my hand on my buddy's shoulder, holding the barrel of the gun right past his face. His eardrums probably would have blown completely out.
You're propping off his shoulder.
Yeah, but keeping the theme of spooking those turkeys going, he got behind a tree and needed to take like 2 steps for where I could pull the trigger, and he didn't. He putted, turned around, took off exactly where he came from, screwed that one up too. So by that point, it's just like, all right, it's not meant to be. It's not going to happen. And the afternoons hadn't been productive, so I knew we had Sunday morning. That was it. But where these turkeys had been, they'd kind of been working this little ridge the whole time we were up there. Like, we spooked turkeys off the ridge. They'd gobble up there. We'd go up there, and they'd shut up like they've been doing. But that afternoon, we just said, we're going up here, and we're getting comfortable on this. We were worn down anyway by this point, so it sounded pretty good. We're like, we're just going to sit down. If a turkey gobbles, we're not even going to it. Like, we are waiting right here. And we did. We sat down, and turkey gobble. Like, okay, well, there he is. Wouldn't go anywhere, just kind of sit there. He'd gobble about 20 minutes later. Like, no, not close enough. Gobbled again, which it sounded like he was coming closer. And we just didn't move. I mean, we
were calling any?
A little bit, but I was nervous to call. I mean, I had made him shut up the whole trip when I called, but we would move like it would sound like they were coming from the bottom. Then it would sound like they were coming from the top. So we moved a total of we moved to a tree that was like 20 yards away. Then we moved back to the original tree we were at. Then we moved to a third tree. Well, then finally, after like an hour and a half, there is 5 turkeys gobbling around us. They're not really answering calls, but they're gobbling around us. And we're just kind of set up waiting. I mean, I'm not really calling. I'm calling like every 20 minutes because I am so nervous to call. Yeah. And I hear this turkey that sounds like he's coming. I mean, probably 150 yards. I called at him. I don't think he gobbled, but about 15 minutes go by and he gobbles and it sounds like he's 30 steps. And there's a huge tree right in front of me, so I'm like, oh yeah, this is perfect. This is typical of the trip. He's right behind that tree, and he's just going to sit there and know that there's no hen here, and he's going to leave. And I don't know if I was hearing him, if he was a little further than I thought. I don't know what happened, but I know like 10 more minutes went by, and I just kind of glanced over to my left, and there's 2 turkeys, and I'm right-handed, so my gun is completely facing the other way. But there's 2 turkeys. No. To my right. Yeah.
I was going to say, there's
I'm facing left.
Okay.
I'm facing left. The turkeys come into my right, and it's 2 of them. And I'm like, you know what? I'm about to swing on these turkeys, and I'm shooting. I mean, I'm trying it because I'm the one that morning had kind of gotten in my head because I could have probably killed him as close as he was through some brush, but I don't like to shoot through any brush or anything. Well, I turned, and one of them just took off out of there. Thank God the second one just kind of paused for a second to figure out what was going on, and that was all it took for him to be done. But, we both killed up there, and they got some thick beards up there. Their spurs were, like, real rounded off, I guess, just from that terrain, that rocky terrain, but they had some thick beards up there for sure. We were hunting, like, around a cut cornfield, so I'm sure they just sit up there. I mean, they were heavy birds too. I'm sure they just sit up there and eat that corn all year long. But that was probably the most fun trip of the year. I mean, it always makes it a little more fun when you're able to kill one, but because Georgia was as fun as it could be too. But
talking about the big birds out there, big weight out there. That's what. I don't know if I told you this about Tex and Brent. One of the guys that we're having a podcast here in a couple of weeks, he and I were texting earlier in the year, and he killed one opening morning. It was like it was the weekend after Barrett killed his. When Barrett shot his turkey, I was watching him. Oh, first of all, he came we were on the side of a hill, and he comes strutting by under us. So if you're picturing Barrett facing 12 o'clock, Barrett kills him at like 7 o'clock. Because the turkey walks so far under us that we can't see him. He had to like kind of walk out this cliff before he came up behind us where he could shoot. Well, when I leaned back to look around the tree, kind of behind Barrett where I could see him, as soon as I saw him, I thought he was like 15, 20 steps because he looked like he was huge. Mm-hmm. Barrett shoots and runs down there. He's about 35. Well, as soon as he gets back, Barrett's like, this looks like a Midwestern turkey. Like, he's huge. And I mean, you could tell, like, his head was gigantic. You know, like, they have his big old meaty heads out there. Like, he was the first turkey I've ever gone and weighed at the camp house. Like, that was the first thing we did. We ran back to the camp house to go weigh him. He weighed 24 pounds.
So, that is an absolute just giant.
Well, but what was funny about it was, for us, like, that was like just a huge turkey. That's all we could think about. And he weighed 24. And like Brent texted me that he killed like 2-year-old opening morning. And it was like 26.
He's in Iowa?
Iowa.
Yeah.
He's like, just a good old 2-year-old weighed 26 pounds.
Yeah. A friend of mine went to Iowa this year for the first time, and he said it was awesome up there and just big birds. But talking about weighing that turkey made me think about what was that? Like your 14-inch beard on that turkey that y'all killed.
No, we didn't told everybody.
Let's hear about that.
Oh, it's staying that. We didn't told you pulled it out. You were fooling with it.
No, I don't think so.
So it was connected till you got to playing with it too long.
I don't think it was. But so Austin thought he just had. I think they thought they had the Mississippi record for a beard.
I don't think it would have been the record because I've seen.
What y'all think it was? Like 13?
Hey, I'm looking. I got a picture of it somewhere.
So they thought it. I mean,
I got a picture.
He brings it in the office the next day. I mean, I get a text about it. I'm like,
send you a picture of it.
It's the biggest thing I've ever even. Yeah, you did send me a picture.
Hang on, back up. We weren't like, oh my God, look at this 13-inch bearded turkey or whatever it was.
I don't know.
It only had like 5 strands. It looked like they went that way. So it wasn't like it was this whole beard that was like that. It was like 5 strands that went that long.
Well, y'all thought y'all had something, that's for sure. And then he brings it into the office the next day to show me, or the Monday after the weekend or whatever. And
Beau sat there and fooled with it.
No, I don't know how y'all didn't see it. He
sat there and fooled with it for 30 minutes, so he plucked him out.
It was part of the beard had come loose and was hanging down probably halfway down the main part of the beard.
No.
Like, you handed it to me and just instantly I was like, how'd y'all not see this?
Because you made that up.
No, because y'all
I got pictures, man.
Yeah, well, you could probably see it on the pictures where it was sitting there halfway down the beard.
That was an interesting experience.
Oh yeah, y'all had the. So now y'all got the daggum Mississippi weight record out there this year and the Mississippi beard record. You can just kill one. Well, you're out of time, but you're not gonna get the Spurs this year. But well, you got.
I have seen the Spur record before, or no, I think it's second. The guy that is from Kemper actually tied one of the guys from Lauderdale.
I think what is it? 1.8?
Yeah, something like that.
1.87 or something, which is just ridiculous to even think about a 1.8-inch Spur. But well, you got one more little run at it. You're going.
Yeah, I got. We 3 of us are headed to Nebraska 2 days from now, so. I got 1 tag. Both of them got 2 tags. I just bought one I didn't know if I was going to get a chance to go anywhere or not, so I just bought one before the quota ended, and turned out I'm going to get to go. So,
yeah, I wish I'd love to be going, but I can't. It always happens every year. It's like go, and then May rolls around, and you realize you've got a whole month left, but it's just you're just tired. I mean, at least I am. Like I want to go some more, but I am just worn out from it.
Well, that's what was happening to me. As the season progressed, that's why I ended up where I was only hunting on Saturdays. Like, was just so busy during the week with work, and then wasn't feeling good with this whatever lingering pneumonia we've had. That I would go Saturday morning, and then that was it. After that, I was like, I'm done. I got to sleep one day.
Yeah, obviously it's.
We just were busy
turkey
this year.
hunting, so it's not like we're out there just working our butts off.
Right.
It drags on for sure. But you're going. What part of Nebraska are y'all going to?
Northern,
Northeast,
North Central.
North Central. So they're going to be Merriam's. Do you know?
Should be some Merriam's.
The
guys have been out. I haven't been to this part before. The only time I've ever been out there was like South Central, and they were just Rios. But where they are, they kill some really white. When there's like a river out there that's like there's like a big kind of dry expanse in a river, and then as you get closer to the line, they're like it's pretty well like there's a big kind of dividing gap there almost that kind of helps separate.
Yeah,
coming in from South Dakota.
Yeah, that's and there's I guess
if I kill one up there that's white.
You're calling it
I'm gonna call it a Merriam.
Yeah, well, and I guess.
But if I kill one on like the bottom end of the place, it's not
I think
Snow White. Then it's probably a hybrid or is a real. I'm not gonna call it that, but it'd have to be probably killed on the northern end of the place. And
those are the prettiest of all to me. A lot of people say the Eastern or the Osceola, but those Merriams, I love.
I think they're pretty. Yeah,
that's what I hate the most, that I'm not going on a Merriam trip this year because. It's just, the terrain plus the bird is incredible. But my a group of friends that are in that turkey hunting group message I was talking about, they just got back from South Dakota and had an awesome time. They all killed turkeys, and I was just jealous looking at all those Merriams. But yeah, that's a pretty bird. Maybe you'll get to find you one.
I hope so. I think weather looks like it's going to be pretty nice. It is going to rain. We don't go on a trip anywhere that doesn't rain. Last time I was in Nebraska, we are drought enders. Anytime we go on every time I travel somewhere in the Midwest, it's a drought ender.
Well, it rained every trip out Florida, Georgia, and Indiana this year. It rained every
trip you went on.
Yeah, Florida I had a camp house, so it didn't really matter, and I guess Indiana I had a hotel, but Georgia being in the middle of nowhere and having to get rained on in a tent is pretty miserable. But yeah, it rained on me every time. I'm gonna try to squeeze one more trip in somewhere.
Last time I was in Nebraska, like 4 years ago, we saw 20% of their yearly rainfall total.
Good Lord.
It rained an inch.
Yeah, well, it sounds like they need some rain then. Don't be wishing.
Yeah,
don't be wishing against their rain.
I'm not. That's what we always. Some of the guys we're friends with around there. We always tell them like, "Hey, if you need some rain, we'll come and bring it."
Yeah, it sounds like they need some if that's what they normally get. But yeah, I'm gonna try to squeeze in one more hunt. I don't know where, and I don't know. I can't decide. I just don't want it to be over quite yet. I want to at least go somewhere else.
Right.
But who knows? But it's been fun.
Did you see any? I was going to ask y'all this earlier. Did you see any of the public comment stuff open for Mississippi?
No.
You know what I'm talking about at all?
Yeah, I do because I saw the top of it, or I saw the headline, but okay. I forgot to read it. What did?
There's a couple things out there to look at there on the Mississippi Department of Wildlife's website. I guess there's some non-resident fee structure changes they're talking about doing, but for residents, there's looks like they're talking about moving the season to the closest Saturday to March 20th, which is the way they did it up until 2004. 2004, I think, was whenever they made the change to the 15th,
regardless.
Yeah. So I think what they said was the earliest it would start. I'm trying to remember. The earliest it could ever start maybe would be the 17th, and then the latest would be 22nd or 23rd, something like that. It's just whatever Saturday would be closest to March 20th. They're wanting to get it. One of the things I read was that they were wanting to make it more of a bigger hoopla, first day of deer season. Yeah. They want to get on a Saturday where more people can participate, that sort of deal.
Yeah, well, I don't know of many people that are into turkey hunting like we are that can't make that happen anyway.
I don't either. I hate to see it back up, but that's one thing.
That sounds like an excuse to me to back it up a little bit to try to use that reasoning.
That's what I thought. They'd like to move it back some, but
I'm glad they're moving it back. That I've been wanting that for years now, but
sound like it being on the 15th.
I do, but I just think that for the turkey, it needs to be moved back a little bit. I don't guess we've seen the long-term effects or benefits of Alabama, but it hadn't changed people's success over there, moving it back to, would they move it back to the 25th, I think?
It's not going to hurt either way. I just like having that 4 weeks between deer season and turkey season.
I do too, but what are they doing anything to?
And mandatory tagging, I think, is the other thing that's coming up for next year.
Well,
not mandatory reporting with an actual physical tag that has to be put on the turkey before you move it from wherever you killed it.
Yeah,
I like that better than the season date.
I guess. What if somebody that's not going to report their turkey's not going to care about a tag? In my opinion,
but if they get stopped, if they get seen somewhere, if they get stopped and they don't have it tagged, that gives something else a game warden can use, because right now it's like the Wild West out there.
Yeah. Well, and
that's one reason we didn't hunt that much this year, was because we were defending the place more than hunting, it seemed like.
Yeah, people that aren't going to follow the rules, though, they're not going to follow the rules regardless of what they are. They'll just figure out, stick them in the toolbox or something where the game warden can't see them.
I do like
that's all these rules are, all these rules are only, if you'll follow them. So it's not, I guess they're making the rules for the law-abiding citizens, not for the outlaws. But are they doing anything? Did they propose anything for the bag limit?
No, it's still 3.
Yeah, that's the only one that I really. I mean, I like them backing the season up, but I've been wanting them to lower the limit to 2 for I don't know a couple of years. I mean, it sounds.
See, I don't want them to lower it because if they ever lower it, they're not ever going to raise it.
Well, maybe.
I'd rather leave
that
it
is
at,
the fear that I think everybody has against it, but I mean, I don't know what in the world that.
We talked about this the other day when Anthony was here, and people may have heard us say this before. And if you ever hear it and you just like, one, we're down the road from the ambulance depot. We're right on the street where we record is like right off the street corner, and so
and we have Life Flight right there across.
Yeah,
the street,
we have Life Flight right there too. So helicopters, ambulances, vehicle sounds, any of that, like we've tried to deafen this office as much as we can. But if you ever hear us laughing about something that happens outside or wondering why there's sirens in the background, that's why.
Well, that looks like it was
I was like
homeless person on the good stuff passing by, but
were they on a bicycle or were they?
I couldn't tell. Through the blind, but so were those the only proposals they had?
Turkey, yes, and then deer. There was like another thing to put velvet season back out there, like they did last year.
Yeah, well, I guess we can talk about that.
I didn't really read any of the deer stuff yet, and I didn't go deep into the others. I'm trying to think what else they had out there.
So what do these rules have to? What's the process of getting them actually approved?
Can't tell you that. I don't know. I know they're just asking for public comment right now, and then I guess once they get through the comment period, the commissioners will vote on it and put it into action based off what their
public says.
Public comment was.
Yeah. Well, hopefully some people actually take the time to call them, write them, whatever. Because I'd love to see that season backed up a little bit, just going off of, I'm not a scientist, I don't know anything about it, but just listening to multiple scientists talk about, backing it up into letting a little more breeding take place before the season starts.
I just think Mississippi's so privately controlled when it comes to land management.
It is.
That as long as you're taken care of in your own place, and you're not like Mississippi is a state that private land managers are going to determine what the long-term aspect is.
Yeah, and that's for sure. I mean, and a ton of people, they keep talking about population decline. Well, there's some people that are seeing more turkeys than they've ever seen because the way they're managing their property. But one of the big things to me, and this is just selfish, but besides Florida, we're the only state that's open when we open. So
right.
Everybody from out of state that their season's not open yet, they just flock here, and I don't know. I was told that all you have to do, which maybe they'll change it, but I don't know if this is true, but I was told that basically all you had to do if you were an out of state resident is apply, and it was 100% draw. But I mean, they did put that draw in, but I heard it was 100%. But yeah, if we back the season up a little bit, at least there'd be other seasons starting to open up. I mean, Florida, the north portion of Florida is not even open yet when we're open.
Right.
So, I don't know. I mean, like I say, I'm not a scientist. I don't know if it actually would help or not, but that's what they seem to think. So, 2 days, if the earliest is the 17th, 2 days is not going to.
Right. Well, and if the whole thing is to make more people be able to go on the 20th, well, then you just told me that doing it on the 15th, a lot of people aren't going to begin with.
Yeah. I don't know.
So that's not why they're doing it.
Glad to see they're trying to do something.
They're going to do something. And then, I think I think both of those things will probably happen. It's going back to the way things, to me, for us, it seems like the way it's always been has been on the 15th. I actually can remember it changing because I remember like going into high school or something, I think, whenever it changed. And I remember it switching from like when one year you were able to hunt on spring break and the next year you weren't or something like I remember like flipping and like it was right at the time when I flipped from being used to being an adult hunter and missed out on being able to hunt over spring break.
Yeah, I don't remember. The only thing I remember about it is always the time changing.
Yeah.
But because I don't know, what do you get, like 3 days before the time
Yeah,
changes
you
or
used to get a
something?
couple.
Yeah, and then it switched. But
I can I can remember it moving. And I think it was 2004 when it moved. I do like the tag thing. I think the tag thing will be good just because it gives them something a little bit more on the enforcement side. We were talking with some game wardens the other day. I mean, hunting in Mississippi's gotten really, really simple as far as what game laws are.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always been way more lenient than other states.
Yeah.
I don't,
So I'd like to see a little bit of step up there.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, hopefully that stuff passes. I'm kind of indifferent on the tags, but I don't mind it. I mean,
I think
like I say,
with it being out there for that, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it'll probably go through.
Yeah, hopefully so. But I mean, all in all, I hope it's not completely over yet. I know it's not completely over for you, but all in all,
yeah,
pretty incredible turkey season. I mean, they all kind of are, but
yeah, and that's what I mean. Like I said, mine was a little slow from just being able to go, but it was still a really good one. I mean, started off hot and heavy, and then the rest of it was just me not going. It wasn't at the
and every year, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
how many times I go. Every year I look back and I'm like, I didn't go enough. I missed too many mornings. But I mean, it's like I was talking to my buddy when we were sitting there in Indiana just getting whooped. There's a very fine line in busting it, doing all you can to try to kill one, and making yourself miserable. And when you pass that line, you're sitting out there and you're just pissed off. You don't want to be out there, but you want to kill a turkey. It's like, why? Well, why are you even out there? So I always think, I didn't hunt enough that year, but when it's going on, I'm hunting all that I need to hunt.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's really kind of all I got from. I know you and I talked about it. People probably saw the picture. It was funny after we did the bear podcast. I had that one picture of a bear show up exactly 1 week after the bear podcast.
I know
he hasn't been back.
I don't know. Yeah, that's just weird that it happened like that. I mean, you never had a picture of a bear, have you?
I've never had a picture of one.
I know you talked about
there had
having
been
one up there.
There'd been one seen out there before, but that was the first time we'd ever had a picture of one.
Yeah, and I did. I guess this is kind of just to throw this in there real quick, but I did see MDWFP posted today that they're looking for landowners down south.
Yep, I saw that.
For help with the bear research. I mean, we talked about that on the podcast, but I just saw it again today. So
yeah, and he gave the counties and all. It was pretty much
just all across
straight,
the South.
Pretty much straight across the whole South.
Yeah. So if anybody's listening that has property, what'd they say? Like they looking for like 2,000 acre chunks or something like that.
Hang on.
I think they were looking for big acreages. I mean, it doesn't, it's not that big a deal. But yeah, if you are down there and want to help out with some of that stuff, they're looking for landowners to. I think they're wanting to come out there and trap some bears and do some tagging and stuff on some. I just think there's not enough public land down there for them to get enough research done.
The Post didn't give a.
I think he said it on the podcast. He was talking about 1,000 or 2,000 or something like that. I guess it really does. Anything would probably help them. But I just saw that today, so just bring that up again. But yeah, that's that. I mean, turkey season's just been taking all our time the last couple of weeks. So this week already, I've started kind of turning my attention to doing some stuff out there at that farm for the deer, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, I think we'll probably have one more turkey podcast following this up, and then start switching content over into probably more land management and deer.
Yeah, and we need some topics. So, I mean, we talk about the stuff we love to talk about, but if you've got anything that you want us to talk about, or any guests that come to your mind that you're like, oh, they should interview them, send us a DM on Instagram, because we've got some good guests coming up, some different stuff, and we're gonna at some point, hopefully this summer when there's not any hunting seasons going on, but we're gonna get into some real estate stuff and some buying land and financing land, different stuff like that to help people out from that side of things, but. Want some more topics? Want to know what y'all want to hear? So send us a DM on Instagram on that. You got anything else?
No, sir. I'm good.
All right. Well, we're gonna get back on schedule. Promise not to miss another one anytime soon. So just be looking forward to some more and some more guests starting in 2 weeks. So we'll see y'all later.